It's Championship Sunday at Discraft presents Sun Kings Throw Down the Mountain 12. We're at the Olympus Disc Golf Course, a modified layout, but nonetheless, we've got Sullivan Tipton. We also have Martin Kneece, who we saw during round number 2. Thomas Gilbert doing some work to get onto the card, and rounding us out, Ben Wolff. I called it earlier. The timing didn't work out to have one Thomas Gilbert join me in studio again here. Means you get me solo. And yes, of course, the allergies / head cold still with me. And I'm glad you're with me, though. Let's see if we can have some fun here. It's the final round and another gorgeous day in Florida. We won't see any course changes per se. And at this point, we've seen all 4 of our competitors that are on the card. We've seen them at some point during the weekend. Sully had a 5 under during the opening round, but busted out a 9 under yesterday, which was the hottest round on the course. Off to a good start there. Here's Martin. Not far from where he landed yesterday. However, this one's going to roll all the way to the bottom of the hill. Thomas almost getting close. Well, certainly getting closer to the red basket, but almost giving that an ace run. Had it just hooked up, and now we see Ben going with the forehand. And apparently clipped a little bit of the Spanish moss that was hanging down, which nobody could see. Gilbert forced to lay up to the top. And after some serious searching, that's where we found Martin's disc way down at the bottom. All right. Working hard for it. That's going to be a par for Ben to get things started. Short range for Sullivan. Doesn't get it to drop. What a missed opportunity, especially knowing no one else on the card's going to birdie. So no real movement, apparently. A good recovery overall for Martin. And Sullivan kind of letting everyone off the hook there. We head over to hole number 2. Really 2 routes. You can go dead straight and kind of go up that right-hand gap, or most players could flex something out here. Maybe just play a hyzer to this landing zone to then pitch up, or we've seen some cut forehands, just putting them on really stiff angles, trying to get it to go left and then ultimately flex back. And Sully's going with what I would consider the safest, most conservative play. Just pitch it down to the bottom, then give yourself a look up to the basket, walk away with a 3. Certainly one of the easiest holes that they could play. So don't try to overcomplicate it. Yeah, that needed more height.
Oh, Thomas did it again. Oh.
Thomas this time gets through and in fact goes too far, and there's some white OB stakes dead straight of that gap, and he's gone beyond them. He's out of bounds. Huge mistake. And yeah, I'm going to be extra tough on him if I have to, because he's not sitting in the booth with me. So he's able to bring it back inbounds. You get 2 meters off the barbed wire fence, up to 2 meters, that is, if you want to take it. And from there, just trying to pitch up next to the basket. And a very good chance to save the par, but par feels like bogey here. Little easy chip shot, not a problem for Martin. And even easier, just a little jump for Sully. So Thomas with the OB is going to be the only one on the card to walk away with a par. In fact, if you scroll down the leaderboard, you have to get all the way to roughly, I don't know, 12th place or so to find for the next person to have not birdied it. So you're giving one to the field, or at least most of your closest peers at that point, if you're not walking away from this one with a birdie.
Well done, sir.
Easiest hole on the course, averaging 3.22. Big shout out to our friends at the Distinguished Doodle. Use the code TheDiscGolfGuy. I believe you still get 35% off your entire order. That's insane. As we're trying to make the bend here, going just past the red pin to the long blue one here. Really just trying to get yourself set up with this shot. Anywhere on the road is generally going to be a good shot. I think you'd rather go long than short, because if you come up short, like there, it makes it so much tougher to not only find the clean line, but also to get all the way to the pin. So I'd rather push this one a little long, find yourself maybe up against the back wall as opposed to coming up against the front wall. And that's, yeah, that, short of throwing a miracle shot, it's super tough to try and get all the way to the pin from that spot. There's kind of that long side of the road on the right of the road, which to me feels like the more favorable spot to be. You're going to still have awkward footing, but guess what? You have awkward footing everywhere on this second shot. There's no such thing as perfect footing on this shot. All right, all right. That'll give Martin a long look. Solid forehand. Okay, awkward footing, but still works out just fine for Thomas. And really, this is just the ideal landing zone. That's exactly where you want to be with your drive.
Thanks.
Just a matter of picking a point, because a lot of times, well, almost every time when you're approaching here, you're just kind of blindly throwing to a spot. You don't necessarily see the basket. Saw big putts by Thomas here in round one. And in round two, we saw Martin connect from even deeper than that. Not today, though. Looks pretty solid. He'll move to 13 under. And how exciting to see such a competitive battle coming into this final round, as you see everyone just a stroke or two apart here on this card. Kind of created a little separation from them versus the chase card. And Sully's putter, not necessarily hot here to get things started.
With a legacy dating back to 2001, Sun King Discs has been instrumental in advancing disc golf across Florida, the U.S., and beyond, partnering with and hosting over 500 events, including the famous Throw Down the Mountain. We are dedicated to bringing joy to players from all walks of life. Explore our extensive disc selection at sunkingdiscs.com and enjoy free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Sun King Discs. Believe in a better way.
Big thanks to Mike Barnett, along with the entire crew out here. 4 weekends of being out on the property, hosting the event, along with all the other events they host throughout the year, and obviously always constantly replenishing the online and in-person store that they have. Yeah, pretty incredible effort. As we're here on hole number 4, this is a slightly shorter pin than what you guys saw for the chess.com event. And Thomas can't see where it's going, but he says he loves it, and he should, because that's about as good as it gets. That'll give him at least a look at a long-range eagle. Some weird reaction off the ground there for Tipton. That should work out just fine. Good distance for Martin. Yeah. We're just going to watch this for a moment. That's one way to attack it. I'd love to just see the forehand, just him ripping a forehand down this pipe and then possibly getting the skip. I think that could also put him in eagle range as well, but clearly he thinks that's his higher percentage option. And he threw a really nice shot during round 2, so I can understand it. Speaking of eagles, Thomas with the bid. And this one, too, isn't nearly as easy as hole 2, but it's one that if you have a clean tee shot, it's a pretty good chance you can find yourself getting up and down and walking away with a birdie here. And this does play as the 3rd easiest hole on the course, so you know, in the first 4 holes, you're looking at 2 of the easiest holes out here. Got to get a couple of birdies, maybe even some eagle looks. Averaged 3.54 during our final round. We head to hole number 5. My friends over at Swarm Digital Marketing, big supporters. They got a flanner here on this hole, and also they want to help you out, especially if you already have an existing website. They'll help you build one if you need one, but they can help maintain and do the SEO, the search engine optimization on your site. We all know if you have a site and people don't go back to it or people don't find it, well, then it doesn't really matter how good your site really is, does it? So there's a contact link. Make sure that you go out there, fill that all in, and David and crew over at Swarm can help you out. Plus, they disc golf, so let's keep some business in the disc golf community. That's I'm a big fan of that.
Get off that tree. Yeah, boy. Off the basket.
Can he possibly ring up another one?
I mean, I see how you race this hole.
Okay. So Martin, just to recap, aced it in round 1, parked it in round 2, and parks it in round 3. He's looking to go 4 under on hole number 5.
I know. Maybe.
So if you land in the designated area, you must go to the drop zone with no penalty. And that's exactly what we're seeing there from Sully. And Ben landed up on top, so he's safe. And he's looking at a par there. Sully trying to save his par. This too, in the easier range, it was playing under par. And some putting struggles continue. So Thomas is going to move to 15 under. That's where Martin is at the moment. And Sully is going to give up not only the lead, even a share of the lead. He's not even going to have that. We're going to see a 2-stroke swing between him and Martin.
I don't think so. No, mine was like even with it. You're farther than me. On that thing.
But for tournaments, like, I just always put in Ace and CTP because I feel like whatever I don't get it, I'm
donating it.
to.
Yeah. Are you walking back?
Doesn't get hit.
That's a good question. You guys getting in CTPs, ace pools? Is that something you do when you go and play in tournaments? That's what they were talking about. But now we head over to hole number 6. And what a beautiful hole. You're going to play out. You would love to land somewhere in the short grass here. Then you're going to probably have a flexing shot that will go around the corner and then bring you up into the pocket. Very satisfying birdie. You can't really cheat your way or BS your way into a birdie on this hole. You need to throw a couple of good shots and then probably still make a decent putt.
Oh, okay, that was trash.
Oh, that's trouble. That's early.
I've been sawing it off super long, so. Oh, I cannot. Twice in a row it slipped out of my hand.
Yeah, Ben. You're 0 for 2 on coverage here on hole number 6. And I don't mean to laugh at you, but I don't see many people hit that tree, and somehow he's gotten it both rounds. I think there was a slip in round 2. Not sure if that was aided by a grip issue or not, but that is a lot of trouble. This time he gets a good break, though, and he lands on the short tee that we see. The tee that actually we used to play for quite a few years. And so he's got good footing, but that's where he's going to be after 2. So still a chance to save par, but he'll need another really good shot. Martin will set himself up. That'll give him at least a chance to get up and down for the par. Oh, what a beautiful flight. Good looking shot. We'll see just how far that penetrated, possibly if it found the alleyway or got all the way up into the green.
Yeah, it's good.
And Sullivan liked it. Oh, yeah. Now, if Martin could just put himself there, I think that's what he was frustrated with, just thinking if he could just put himself there off the drive, he'd be looking at birdies. The last 2 rounds, he had a problem getting off the tee, just as we saw here from Ben, and they'll both have a chance to save par. Gilbert for a share of the lead. Ring it up. Solid putt by Thomas. Sully's going to join Gilbert and Kneece at 16 under. Okay, doing some work. I mean, after that tee shot, a par is by far the best you could expect. And even being pinched off on that lower left side, like we saw from Martin, par's not too bad. Let's take a quick break. Great way to support your favorite players out there on tour, teamdiscraft.com, and big shout out to Discraft, who really, I think without them, this event would not be anywhere nearly as big as it is. I know Mike and Sun King continue to put a ton of effort into it, and largely backed by our friends over at Discraft. So thank you to everyone over there. Hole number 7, Gilbert.
Oh, no, don't hold on.
Off the basket.
Yeah, occasionally down.
Hits the front of the basket, and then it checks up for him, which is maybe the most important part. That was coming in way too fast. Good thing the basket got in the way. And that gets hung up short. Well, you got to like the line here.
Nice.
Okay, so comes in a little short. May have got a bad reaction off the ground that slowed it down, but you love the line. You'll still have a look for birdie.
Hey. Get in.
Nice.
That was close.
Oh, and look at the roll. A little movement there after it hits the ground, even though he came in just deep of the pin.
Chill.
Notice everyone's holding their breath. Everyone's saying, sit down, simmer, slow down, stop, whatever. That's just how treacherous this green is. We saw the unraveling by Sully here. Not to bring it up and pour salt in the wound, but this is where we saw him take a quadruple bogey. And it was largely due to some of this awkward footing and stance and a nasty rollaway that went 80 or 100 feet that eventually went out of bounds after hitting basket. It's a very difficult green, and it's unassuming, and I don't know if I can convey it as clear as this really is. It's just such a weird green.
Yep. Tomahawk this. There you go.
Sully's in for the par. There was a lot of looking for Thomas's before they actually found it propped up against the tree. It was coming in so hot, we assumed it had rolled all the way down near the OB, and then a lot of awkward positioning for him. I did trim off at least 15 seconds of him trying to find just the right angle to release that. But he walks away with the birdie. Feels a little bit like a bonus out there. And as we take a look at hole number 8, just aesthetically one of my favorite ones out here. And nobody's yet to really master it. We haven't seen any park jobs in rounds 1 or 2. And I love that we see backhand turnovers and we also see forehands. And it feels like both of them certainly have the chance to get there, but nobody's executed. 0 for 8 so far.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, we'll make it 0 for 9.
Get into the trees. In. Go.
That's going to flirt with OB. All right, he gets a green flag. He's just barely in bounds. Oh, yeah, we've seen overhands, too. Well, that's not going to get
It was there.
up and in there. Okay. Almost a black ace. See if Martin can get there. Good adjustment from the previous day. A little kick off the tree. So he'll have a long look, certainly within his range. And you see just how close Thomas is to the OB. And had a very, very tiny window.
Great shot, dude.
I think if he was here in the booth, he'd tell us that he couldn't probably do that a second time. A very small window, a little approach shot there for Ben, not a problem. Martin. Oh, that was for a share of the lead again with Thomas. Good bid. Sully for a share of the lead. So no one figuring out hole 8 this year.
I don't know if you call it Annie. I think it just wobbled.
There were birdies. They were out there. They didn't come by a lot of competitors overall. But none on coverage. So very impressive save there for Gilbert. And we still have a pretty tight ball game here. I love it. We head over to hole number 9. This is modified as well in that we're going to have players play to the blue basket at the bottom of the hill. And that is not what we saw earlier in the year. Oh, and Thomas hits a late tree. And understandably, everybody on the tee thought he was past everything. Takes a little off of the angle, or maybe a little off the speed, I should say, and Ben still connects with a tree. Okay. You're not mad about that. Great shot from Tipton. Wow, what a weird reaction. Came in just deep of the pin and then kind of catches a rock and skips up and to the right. So the exact same conversation that happened the day before happened again here as to if he's allowed to put his foot inside the casual relief or not, or inside the area that was kind of marked off. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. Oh, and Ben doesn't take advantage of the good drive. Awkward footing, but doesn't convert. So, yeah, like I said, way back on hole 5, tell me if you participate. Do you actively get into CTPs if they're offered? Not the free ones, but ones you have to actually pay for. Some tournaments do that, some don't. And or the ace pool. Are you the type of player that usually gets in on those, or do you skip those things and not necessarily worry about them? That's what I should hear from you in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. I'm just 98,000 short of 200,000 subscribers. So let's see if we can get there by the end of the year or something. I don't know. Big shout out, Sun King, Grip, along with Discraft. Thank you guys all for the support. Looking forward to seeing you guys for the exciting conclusion. It's round 3, final 9 coming up. We'll see you there from the Olympus Disc Golf Course.